Hi everybody, Anthony on Power Rangers Lost Galaxy fan film with a new episode of the Terra Adventure podcast with episode 355 presented by my Morphin Megaverse Power Rangers Facebook group. This is the point in the franchise where for me personally I need to come clean with this. So you guys should know that, well, this is going to be a little quick video, a little quick rant in the podcast regarding the upcoming 30th anniversary season of Power Rangers, and in this case, season 3 of Power Rangers Dino Fury going Cosmic Fury. Honestly, at this rate, I don't know how I feel about them doing Cosmic Fury, this being a continuation of Dino Fury, but knowing the fact, for those who don't know, I have not been keeping up with Power Rangers Dino Fury, and also you guys should know I am not regularly following Power Rangers, the main show, like I should, and I know I'm a very terrible Power Rangers fan for saying this, because look, ever since this last decade of Power Rangers, with the seasons that we've had since Samurai, I have come to a point where part of me wish I should have stopped watching Power Rangers long ago before Samurai and Megaforce happened, even though I was very optimistic about Megaforce when Samurai was coming to an end at this point. And when Megaforce was about to premiere, I was very skeptical about it, see how things would go. But then when it came back from its hiatus, then we start to come to realize that the whole 20th anniversary celebration of it was going to be a farce. But it feels like, with Dino Fury, Cosmic Fury having 3 seasons, it makes me wonder wishing Megaforce could have been that. But no, remember, Power Rangers with the 2-year policy that they had to follow in contract with Nickelodeon, but again, Saban had no choice to fall under that whim. But at least we don't have Saban or Nickelodeon with Power Rangers anymore. But now we enter our upcoming 30th anniversary of the franchise. And personally, I'm not very happy with what's happening here at this point. I know a lot of you people are excited for the upcoming 30th anniversary of Power Rangers, but for me personally, I'm not. There's 1 or 2 things I need to touch on and explain why I feel that way. For starters, I'm not really impressed that they announced Uchu Sentai Q Ranger for this season. Well, it makes sense that since they said they're going to go up into space, but there was no inclination that originally when Dino Fury, I was about to say Dino Charge, sorry. When Dino Fury was greenlit, the plan was only 2 seasons. But then somehow, last minute, they decide to now announce that Dino Fury would get a 3rd season because Power Rangers' 30th anniversary, of course, is coming up. So they've said, okay, Cosmic Fury. Now, given now we've heard that the Sentai that they're adapting, but briefly, while they're stepping away from what they said about the whole steering away from doing any more Sentai adaptations, that Power Rangers would move on to do original stuff. So Q Ranger is the final Super Sentai adaptation we will get for Power Rangers, likely, frankly. Because here's the thing, ever since Super Megaforce, Power Rangers had this connotation to start skipping Sentais that they felt was going to be tricky to do, but hence why, the history what Saban was doing when they skipped Go Buster and Tokyuger. But luckily, Hasbro, when they picked up Go Buster, made it into, luckily, Beast Morphers, that at least Hasbro knew how to do Go Buster and made it into Beast Morphers, clearly and frankly. But then you hear that 2 years ago when they greenlit Ruse Soldier and announced it for Power Rangers Dino Fury, honestly, it had me skeptical. Why going back to dinosaurs again? What's up with that? I mean, I guess it's safer to do dinosaurs than the space theme, which they are going to do, but only for the Zord footage, just like the last 2 seasons of Mighty Morphin. Man, it feels like everything Hasbro's era Power Rangers is doing is basically a complete do-over of not just Megaforce, but the entire Neo Saban era. But personally for me, guys, after the 30th anniversary going forward, I feel like this is the point in the franchise for me where it's time for me to move on from Power Rangers. For one, starting with Cosmic Fury coming up, this is going to be likely my last hurrah as a Power Rangers fan following the main show regularly. And this is going to be the last time I'm going to care much about what they're going to do afterwards. After the fact, I've been a fan of the franchise for as long as I've been, since the Mighty Morphin days. And ever since I was 2 years old in 1994 when Mighty Morphin happened and when it was at its peak of popularity, I'm just now to the point, I'm just done with Power Rangers. I can care less what goes on. And hearing about how Dino Fury getting a third season made me feel like, man, just makes me wonder that seeing that Dino Fury and its cast had gelled so well, even though I haven't watched the season personally. But when I do get around Dino Fury, I have a lot to say about that season, and there's some things that I'm not a big fan of from that season. And to me personally, it just feels like Dino Fury wants to be full-blown Mighty Morphin for this generation, and like, so much for Samurai, so much for Megaforce, so much for Dino Charge, and so much for Ninja Steel when Saban still had Power Rangers, and how they all wanted to be like Mighty Morphin. But remember, each of those series was only 2 years, but Dino Fury, frankly, is 3 years. Even though Hasbro has done 3-year shows when it comes to Transformers and My Little Pony, well, Friendship is Magic notwithstanding. But when we had, as someone who's also a Transformers fan, aside from Power Rangers, but as a Transformers fan, when you think back to the original Transformers, Beast Wars, Beast Machines, the Unicron trilogy, animated, Prime, and all the other Transformers animated series, they would always last 3 years. Well, even though Beast Machines actually take that back, even though Beast Machines felt like a technical 4th season of Beast Wars, but Beast Machines was, well, not that great. But, and then whereas, well, we know with G.I. Joe, every time G.I. Joe has a new animated series, it's always usually 2 years and then they quit and they start something new up again every few years. But Power Rangers, like, why do we have to do 3 years of the Dino Fury turned Cosmic Fury Rangers? To the point, it makes me feel like I want to soften up about Megaforce and Samurai and them probably again. Megaforce especially, because back when we had Megaforce, we could have had 3 years of that cast and delayed Dino Charge and Ninja Steel for like 2016 or something. And Megaforce, after the anniversary in 2000, even in 2015, we could have had them expand the 2 years, like 1 year of Go-Sager and then 2 years of them adapting Go-Kaiger or something. And that's what they probably should have done with Megaforce. But remember, Power Rangers during then was 2 years and 20 episodes, plus, of course, those take it or leave it holiday episodes, Halloween and Christmas, respectively, episodes. And I kind of wish that they should have never made Cosmic Fury personally, and like, what was disappointing, even though I haven't really watched the Power Morphicon panel with the Dino Fury cast, but when the ball dropped when they announced that the Dino Fury cast will be the Cosmic Fury Rangers, I was disappointed. Like, usually every year or two with these newer seasons and teams of Power Rangers, we would usually have an entirely new cast of 5, later 6 people to be a new team of Power Rangers. It just goes to show, for me, I'm in the minority that's not in the Dino Fury, even though I haven't watched it or followed it. But when I do get around Dino Fury, I'm kind of going to be like how I was with Ninja Steel 5 years ago, 4 years ago. Because Dino Fury is up there with Ninja Steel. Even though some will disagree, a lot will vehemently disagree with me here, but this is just my personal opinion about the season. But Cosmic Fury, them adapting the Zord stuff of Uchu Sentai Q Ranger once again. I am really disappointed that Q Ranger is being picked, because of course they have to go with something that was space themed like Q Ranger. One of the biggest worries I have about them touching Q Ranger for the Zord footage is that they're going to basically pull off what Saban did with Alien Rangers. Even though Alien Rangers was leftover Kaku Ranger footage before going on to O Ranger and adapt that for Power Rangers Zeo. But that was back in 1996. This is 2022, going on 2023 here. And I'm not really impressed that they're doing Q Ranger and knowing I loved Q Ranger. I haven't really talked about the series in deep, thorough. Maybe once when Cosmic Fury is done, then I'll talk about Q Ranger. Probably do a rewatch of Q Ranger again, and then do a retrospective on the Sentai and how I should compare Q Ranger with its Power Rangers short little adaptation, just to conclude Dino Fury's storyline with its characters. I was really looking forward for them not touching Q Ranger because, you know, for someone who was doing fan fiction. Now, for a lot of you guys, well, I'm going to have to drop the ball here about that fan film thing of I was doing a Power Rangers Lost Galaxy Infinite Frontier. You know, it feels like now history has repeated itself for me on the channel with this, but you know, for those who were following my fan film updates about Power Rangers Lost Galaxy, this and that on my channel here with PR Lost Galaxy 2014, my third installment of my Marchverse trilogy of Power Rangers Lost Galaxy. Now, even though my fanfic stuff has nothing to do with the main show, but it feels like hearing Q Ranger being adapted into the main show is what deterred me from wanting to finish up what I was intending, because while the fan film stuff is not canon and not in the same universe and continuity as the main Power Ranger show, but of all the time I procrastinated during the Big V getting that film done, even though I had done the film a year before 2020, but in the 2 years since the Big V and due all these major delays, I hate to say this, but Power Rangers Lost Galaxy Infinite Frontier for me, after 3 years of production, it's no longer moving forward. So therefore, the fan film is canceled, and I've already moved on to the fan film I'm more passionate about, of Power Rangers Lost Galaxy. Yeah, I know. It's just this is from my personal perspective, because, you know, I was really not looking forward for them touching Q Ranger, and I get that they could have took another Sentai that was like, you know, two seasons after it, that they could have turned cosmic like Kira Major, because there was something more cosmic about the Kira Major suits. They could have done that. Of course, Zenkaiger was not going to cut it, because Zenkaiger, you know, again, they have, you know, with the Sentai that had a Ranger that would not fit with Power Rangers, that being Zenkaiser, it definitely would not work. So that's why they're not doing, you know, again, that's why they're not doing Zenkaiger either. But I kind of wish they did Zenkaiger. Just only take a few elements from Zenkaiger and leave it at that. But just only have the Dino Fury Rangers and some aspects of it. So, yeah. And, you know, I can see where they went with that. Because, you know, the problem is with them doing Q Ranger is that they're only doing the Zord stuff. And you know I like those Zords. But something tells me they're going to give it probably the Thunder Megazord, Ninja Megazord, Shogun Megazord treatment that the last 2 seasons of Mighty Morphin had done. And I'm just not a big fan of that. I'm just not a big fan of what they're doing with the Q Ranger footage. Again, they're only doing the Zords and probably adapt a few monsters. And because, again, another thing that threw me off is that, well, knowing the fact I no longer subscribe to Netflix anymore, while the Mighty Morphin reunion is taking place on Netflix, but I will talk about that later when discussing Trini's daughter thing next episode. But Cosmic Fury is going to be 10 episodes. Basically, it's going to feel like a 10-part epilogue of Dino Fury, because I don't know how they're going to pan this out. Because if it's going to be 10 episodes, it's going to be just like Alien Rangers, where you only did 10 episodes to finish out Season 3 and the entire Mighty Morphin era and be done with it. Afterwards, that's it. End of the book of that story with Power Rangers. And it's over. It's done. And I'm just not really feeling why they're doing 10 episodes. Like, some Netflix shows, well, yeah, I know most Netflix shows are 10 episodes or 13 episodes a season. But I really wish they never did do that little amount of episodes. You could have did at least 3 or 4 additional episodes, and one of them being the 30th anniversary episode. Or again, the Mighty Morphin reunion thing is going to be some separate ordeal. Once again, because man, I would have liked it if, for someone who hasn't watched Dino Fury, I wish that the Mighty Morphin, the Dino Fury Rangers met the Mighty Morphin Rangers, and hearing about now that Lord Zed returned. They could have explained, they would have told him that Lord Zed returned and some stuff like that. But unfortunately, again, the reunion episode is going to be its own thing, sadly. So that's another thing that's throwing me off here. And also, one of my wishful and hopeful things they would do for Cosmic Fury, if they should have done the anniversary, aside from the Mighty Morphin reunion, they should have done, let's see. They probably should have done an episode to celebrate the overall 30th anniversary of Power Rangers by having an episode to celebrate the anniversary, while Mighty Morphin will have their little anniversary thing going on. But unfortunately, that's not happening, likely, frankly. But we'll see come 2023. But all I can say is I'm just not impressed with Cosmic Fury and Power Ranger. And as for my fan film thing of Lost Galaxy, with to conclude that trilogy. And like I said, Power Rangers Lost Galaxy, The Wrath of Trakeena had killed the fan film series I was doing. That's my fault. I let it kill the series and have that series on the cliffhanger allowed The Amazing Spider-Man 2. So for the Marshverse Rangers, well, I'll discuss that in a separate video. So unfortunately, I'm just not feeling them taking Q Rangers Zord footage only and just be done with it. That's just how I feel, folks. Now, I know. Now, let me know if you guys are excited for Cosmic Fury, because for me personally, I'm not.